Cross the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic feeds our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Bearable we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rock and join the fight. We came together, LP Army might.
All right, guys. Appreciate that. Just make sure the restream's working here. Stream, restream.
Yep, looks like you're live on X.
We're live on X. We're live on the YouTube.
Yep, YouTube's fine as well.
YouTube's good. Sweet. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. We're here to get cracking on this. So here we go. So here we go, just the beginning. Start the basics. Where is my presentation? There we go. So LP and crypto in general are a lot like gambling. You know, it's like you want to go to a casino, you find out how much money you're willing to simply throw out the window, and that's how much you take with you, at least to start. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. You shouldn't be risking your ability to live. So we're not giving you financial advice, and as always, do your own research. Of course, if you don't agree to these terms, don't continue. Here are the prerequisites for the course. Be prepared to lose. You know, you're encouraged to lose because that's how you learn. Consider the losses to be the tuition you pay for your training. If you don't win, don't go in all yet. You probably just got lucky. Wait until you've lost and learn from it. Failure is one of the best teachers. You know, as a weightlifter, I can tell you that failure is the path to success. And while it can feel bad, it is how you gain. So when you're consistently winning, then you can progressively increase your investment here. So I'm gonna move on here. Introductions. I am Heavy Metal Cook. And a little bit about me. Obviously, I love heavy metal and cooking and weightlifting and crypto. I work at a major retailer as a manager. I volunteer in many things. I'm busier than a cat covering poop on a marble floor. So, you know, this is just some of the things that I've done or do. Not real all that interesting, but oh, some people it is. Anyway, and speaking of our instructors, we have online with us today some other instructors. They're going to be here to help answer questions in the Q&A. We've got OGs to bootcamp instructors. They created a lot of the original content, Geek Lad and Otto. So thank you for coming. Mario and Yusuf, two of our newer instructors, as well as Alex. You know, guys creating tools, all LP Army mods. You'll see them around. These are all great guys. So thank you guys for joining us today. Appreciate you being here. So Now we're going to talk about getting the most out of boot camp. Please use the Q&A feature instead of the general chat to have your questions answered. These guys are here to help. While doing these exercises are not absolutely required to graduate, we recommend that you follow along, especially if you are new or unfamiliar with what we are covering. And we certainly welcome your feedback. We cannot incorporate everything there ever is to know, but we really welcome your suggestions. Let us know on Discord. Right now, first thing I've got is links to the tools as well as some other documentation. Feel free to scan that with your phone there. And let's see if I could also put this in the main chat. But that's just some our bootcamp resources. So make a copy, save it, and right on. I'll give it just a moment for people to scan that. So okay. All right, so moving on. We'll cover all the areas and functions available on Meteora, generally speaking, and we will cover a few basic third-party tools to help you. I will give you a tour of the platform and explain as many of its functions and features as possible. But this is you can see there on the screen, these are goals for today, what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be learning. So, Mel, I see your question is the call, is this recorded? Yes, it's being streamed to YouTube and X, and they will stay there so you can watch later. So there you go. And here is our agenda for today. We're going to start with terminology and definitions. You may already know some or all of these things, but it's important that we cover it for all. You got to know the words used in the game before you can even learn the rules. So things are going to get progressively more interesting, so we'll go liquidity and market making. This is just a recap of what liquidity is. Most of you already know, if you're here, you probably know, but market makers are those who provide liquidity and depth. In crypto, market makers on centralized exchanges such as Coinbase and Kraken typically work on electronic market systems with bid and ask order books. They can make money on that bid-ask spread. The spread is usually very small, so they make money on the high volume of it, high frequency trading. And market makers usually have huge amounts of cash and assets that they both buy and sell on the orders of billions of dollars. So, yeah. And market making on the blockchain. So some more definitions here. AMMs are DeFi, or decentralized finance products that allow anyone to become a market maker on the blockchain. It's a protocol or platform where the market making is taking place. Liquidity provider, or LP, refers to the person or firm that is providing liquidity through the AMM, or automated market maker. When traders swap through the AMMs, they pay the fees to the liquidity providers. This is all managed automatically by smart contracts on the blockchain and is non-custodial. Liquidity providers and AMMs profit from earning fees on the liquidity they provide in liquidity pools. There's many different AMM protocols on different blockchains. Ethereum and other EVM blockchains, there's Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, Trader Joe. Solana has like Meteora, Orca, Radium, Saber, and so forth. LP can also stand for liquidity pool, and you may see the term LPing, which means to provide liquidity, and you'll figure out the context. You'll figure out which based on the context. So now, definition of a CLMM stands for Concentrated Liquidity Market Maker, and it allows liquidity providers, that's us, to concentrate their liquidity within a certain price range. Concentrated liquidity helps LPs earn more fees by specifying a price range in which liquidity will be provided. It also helps traders because it will reduce the price impact of their trades in the liquidity pools. Uniswap v3 was the first to introduce this concept over on Ethereum chain. Radium and Orca on Solana operate CLMMs. Here's some graphical examples of these concepts. In a standard AMM, liquidity is spread out over the entire range, putting only a small amount within the current price range, leaving the rest to be idle. It does have the advantage of not requiring any maintenance by the liquidity provider, but you earn less fees per dollar. A CLMM style pool allows the liquidity provider to put more or all of their tokens at or near the current trading price and none or much less out on the fringes. This allows you to generate more in fees. It does have the disadvantage of missing out on any fees when the price of the token swings higher or lower than your specified range. You're more likely to experience what I refer to as impermanent loss when all of your tokens have been swapped for the one or the other and are out of range. When you withdraw out of range, those losses become permanent. LP is not staking. We'll make sure that people sometimes get confused on that. Don't be surprised when you deposit into a pool and tokens get swapped for the other. That is the nature of it. In one sense, you are trading, but not exactly. You're willing to swap back and forth from one token to another, and you may even hope to sell all of one token for the other or not. Like in a grocery store or you're selling, a grocer is selling produce, produce can go rotten. The demand and volume for tokens can drop very quickly. So some meme coins are like that produce, and you don't want to be holding on to them when they go rotten, whenever they dump. You want to move that through very quickly. So now we get into impermanent or divergence loss. And this can be a complicated topic to explain. So we're just going to touch on it and provide you with some links in the resources that I showed you earlier. It goes into more depth. But when you provide liquidity, traders are swapping both of your assets back and forth through the liquidity pool. When this happens, the price changes and it changes the allocation of your assets within the pool. And basically, this means you'll have more of one asset and less of the other. And frequently you hear this called impermanent loss, but is more accurately called divergent loss. Divergent loss happens when the relative price between your deposited assets in the liquidity pool changes compared to whenever you first deposited. That's the nature of LP, and it's basically guaranteed to happen. In other words, you lost more than if you had simply held the token, or that you gained less than you could have simply holding. The bigger the change, the more you will experience divergent loss, but this does not necessarily mean your LP position has lost value. Assets that remain relatively stable with small price fluctuations are less subject to this divergent loss, such as USDC and USDT, which typically stay within a very tight range. Stablecoin pools are significantly less risky. But the goal of successful LPing is to generate sufficient fees to overcome these losses. If you're able to close your position and end up with more of both tokens than you started with, then you've probably achieved the goal. And this chart here is a common one you're going to see all over the internet to explain divergent or impermanent loss. And explaining the math here involves Greek letters that I'm not really going to get into. But again, you can refer to the links that I gave earlier. So moving on is just an example of that. This position, it lost 0.056148 sold, but it gained almost $10 of USDC. So in fees earned, it was about 6 cents. The initial value was 81.60. It ended at 81.84 USDC. So it's a divergence of positive 24 cents. So that total profit and then plus the divergence is 30 cents. And I know that's like divergent and permanent loss. It can sound quite scary to some people, especially if you're new. And knowing the fact that it's basically guaranteed to happen whenever you're providing liquidity anywhere, but you're always hoping to collect enough to overcome this and actually profit. I'm gonna bring up Hugo here. We've got another instructor in the house. Okay. So a few more definitions. TVL and volume are explained here, as you can see. Market cap, sometimes called MC or MCAP. It's just calculated simply by the total number of tokens by the current price. You'll see and hear that term get tossed around. So some more. When you click on a button to perform a swap through any AMM, by the time you click that button and your request is received by a blockchain validator and processed, the price may be different than it was when you clicked the button. This is known as slippage. When you swap through an AMM, you're also causing the mix of assets in the pool to shift and the price of the asset to change. If the amount of liquidity in the pool is high relative to your swap, then your swap will have little price impact. If you swap through a small pool that does not have a lot of liquidity relative to your swap will have high price impact and cause the price to change a whole lot more. Okay, so pool yield and individual marketplaces, you're going to see the 24-hour fee divided by TVL. This is the yield for the pool by calculating the fees divided by the TVL or total value locked. And it's a factor that you can use to determine whether or not you may be interested in a particular pool, but you really got to take it with a grain of salt. The TVL in pools is constantly changing and the liquidity providers enter and exit the pool. And this denominator in this metric is changing all the time, while the value of the fees in the past 24 hours does not. That means that the value could be over or understated if whales have made big moves in the past. So overstated, like a whale is in the pool, they made a whole bunch of fees and they pull out. And when they exit the pool within the last 24 hours, this TVL is going to be overstated. It's going to go way up, and you may be jumping in expecting this awesome rate, and you might have be disappointed. And also, by the same, a whale, they jump into the pool, and the TVL will be higher than it was before they entered. These fees generated in the last 24 hours were done with less of that TVL. And so now it looks like the pool is yielding less because of the higher TVL. So yeah. So now it's time for a little bit of demo. Let me just get up the correct screen here. Not that one. We'll go with that one. Let's do that one. You guys see my you see the dynamic vaults? Are you seeing the presentation?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, dynamic vault. Sweet. Okay.
Like there's a lot of space to zoom in. Might be helpful for folks.
Okay. How's that?
Yeah, better. Thank you.
Okay. So Meteora's dynamic vaults is their first dynamic yield infrastructure where vaults rebalance every minute across lending platforms to find the best possible yield while prioritizing keeping user funds as accessible as possible. You guys don't have to follow this part. It's just super simple. You know, you want to deposit some money here. You can see the APY on it and its trend there, what it's been doing. One thing that's interesting about vaults that I like is, you know, it's a great place to park money. Like if you're going to take a break, you don't want to put your money in anything, um, drop it in a vault. You're not going to get rich off of these vaults, but it's a pretty safe place to put it. Um, and you might get a little bit. You different. I think USDC is actually earning the most right now out of this, but depositing and withdrawing from the vaults is as simple as that. So we're not really going to spend a whole lot of time on that. So what do I'm going to show you guys dynamic pools. So here's our dynamic pools. I mean, you've got multiple choices here. The ones with this little Meteora logo was created by Meteora. Everything else is created by someone else. They are permissionless. Um, so you've got here on this column type stable, and it lists out what type of pool it is, and there's multiple categories like LST. It's a liquid staking token. These are, you know, mark whether or not it's a stable or a volatile pool. Um, I think sometimes they even get listed as meme pools, but that's just kind of an indicator to help you find it. Your TVL, your 24-hour volume, the LM APR. Whenever you see that, that's liquidity mining APR. There may be a farm associated with that. If it says NA, then there's not. But here you'll find this, like we'll go into the Sol B Sol, and you'll see here that it's got a farm that you can go to, and you can deposit your money into that, or your LP token. So you guys can actually follow along here. Let's pick. Let's go with this one. USDC, USDT. I'm going to pull up the Jupiter swap here. Actually, I already have some, but you guys can swap a little bit, just a few dollars of Sol into some USDC or USDT. And this is the part that's weird. Balance deposit. It's always a good idea with a dynamic pool. It may not matter too much with USDC and USDT, but at any point you're going to want to deposit. Simple as this. You'll notice that when I did that, I got a little LP token, right? And you won't get this in anything else. Like you're not going to get that on the DLLM. But this LP token, if there was a pool associated with this, that is what you would be depositing into that pool. But looking at all this, I want to explain a few of these things here. Virtual price and the AMP, those are a little bit longer to explain. I did put some links to the documentation on that out in the bootcamp resources, so we're not really going to cover it. But a lot of this is self-explanatory. You know, this is how much volume that's happened in the last 24 hours. This is how much this pool has earned in fees in the last 24 hours. Now, you're probably asking me, Heavy Metal Cook, what is 24-hour yield? Well, so the dynamic pools, this money also will end up, it's being used lending in the vaults. And it could be just one or the other or both of the tokens, but this is the yield that this pool is also earned from vaults. So this is a great way to kind of like you get um, double your money here. The liquidity provider fee, that one, that's the fee rate at which you, the provider, earn. Um, Protocol fee, that's what would go to Meteora, but it's basically, for the most part, always zero, not being charged. Um, of course, links to these things here. We'll talk about pool charts later. Withdraw swap. You can swap tokens right here within the pool itself. It trades within this pool. It does not use Jupiter. We are not going to go into burn. This is not something that I recommend, you know, unless you're a token creator. Especially don't do it on this pool, because that's a great way to lose your money forever. So don't do that. But as you can see, depositing into a dynamic pool is quite simple. We're just going to withdraw that. Now you may also ask is how can I see how many fees I've earned within the this pool? There isn't anything that's showing you specifically how much you have earned. Um, Basically what you do is you know how much you put in, and then whenever you come to the withdrawal, you see the value of what you're withdrawing. So you get to do math. It's good times. So I'm just going to withdraw this little bit of money here.
One thing I'll add about the swap is typically you don't want to swap through these pools if they have a lot of liquidity like this pool. I mean, you've got $10 million worth of liquidity, then swapping through this pool would be fine. But if you're in like a dynamic pool that only has a few $1,000s of liquidity, typically you don't want to be swapping through it because you're going to have high price impact, and you'll get a much better price through Jupiter. So sometimes, it might be convenient to maybe if you have fees, if you generated fees through the pool, like if you're in a DLMM, sometimes it can be convenient to swap fees through the pool, and that's probably okay because you're not going to have a lot of price impact there. But if if you have large amounts relative to what's in the pool, typically you don't want to be using that swap.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, I'm hardcore. I would rather chew glass than give volume to anybody but Meteora, so I will do it. But that's, as Geek Lad said, um, use use the tools to get the best prices. And definitely at one point, that liquidity, that LP token, don't burn that, don't lose it, don't send it away, because if you do, you will lose it. Your deposit, you won't be able to retrieve it. So don't lose that token. Let's see here. Get back to my notes. There we go. Uh, Actually, yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. So we're gonna move on. Okay. So we already did that. We deposited into the USDC, USDT dynamic pool. So now we're going to move on to the definition of the DLMM. In one sense, it's similar to other concentrated liquidity market makers, but offers additional features and enhancements. It is these additional features that give you, the liquidity provider, an advantage to be more profitable over other CLMM type products. Liquidity is placed in bins, which we will discuss next. We'll also cover these additional features as we go along. Bins are what hold the liquidity of the tokens. They cannot change in size once set, and each one represents a fixed price. Swaps that occur within a single bin do not suffer from slippage. The range of price that a bin covers depends on its width. So bin steps is what defines the width of the bins. In other words, the difference in price between one bin and the next. It's defined by basis points. In our example here, we calculate by multiplying the price by 1.0050. So because it's a 50 bin step pool. If it was a 200 bin step, we would use 1.02, and one bin step would be 1.0001. So that's it in a nutshell there. Basic strategies. One of the main advantages that the DLMM has over the CLMMs is the ability to shape your liquidity with strategies. And you can use one strategy or even combine these to shape your liquidity to suit you and your goals for any particular pair. And just FYI, if you didn't know, DCA stands for dollar cost averaging. Feel free to Google that if you don't understand that. And here's a couple of basic examples how you can stack strategies. Employing the spot and curve strategy is a means to focus your liquidity into a range where you think most of the price action is going to happen, but also leaving some of that liquidity on the outside to capture during price swings. So like here, we think it's going to happen mostly here, but you know, hey, what if it goes wild? Well, you're still going to get some out here. Using a straight curve still will, but it's less so. So this is a little bit more padding. Spot and bid ask. This is one of my favorites. I a lot of times I'll go in on one-sided with just SOL, and then I'll re-add earned fees. Like here, I added or earned fees, and I put them in a bid ask. And that way, if the price of ore pumps, more of that earned ore sells at a higher price than lower, and it gets me even more profit. So um, that's a strategy that I like. Um, so let me just copy my notes here for a second. I'm gonna give you the full DLMM tour. Here. Thanks for waiting. Okay, so the page we're going to go here to the DLMM. So you can search for by token pair, or you can search by a contract address if you have that information. Hello. I'm a typing. There we go. Yeah. So you can do that and it'll automatically find this toggle show unknown token. So that's going to be like your memes. Usually just be careful. Always be sure of your contract address because any scammer can create a pool. These are permissionless. So yeah, be careful. Your columns, you can sort by these things, TVL, 24-hour volume, the 24 over 2 UVL, and the LMAPR. Now, just to be clear, DLMM does not have an associated farm over here. That's only with the dynamic pools. What this generally means is, say the token project has provided some extra tokens that you'll earn simply for holding liquidity within range in a pool. So it's going to earn some extra. I don't know if we can even find one. There's one. Whatever GP and Bonk is, they are, oh yeah, that's new. Pro tip, verify the current pool price. That's always a good idea. But you can see here that they've got this emission rate, so LP rewards per week. So that's what that is. Okay. So let's pick a meme coin pair so that I can demonstrate something. Here it looks like one. Neat. Soul Flipper. So this is the TVL that's in the pool. It's basically empty right now. This particular meme coin is empty. You know, here's the links to the contract addresses, and this shows up a link to rug check whenever it's an unknown token, and that means it's not verified with Jupiter on their strict list. So whenever you get that, you can come out here, you just click straight on rug check, and it'll tell you what's going on. Low danger, low liquidity, $10, low amount of LP for riders. That looks like a bad time. It's probably already rugged. So don't LP that. Let's see. There's your bin step. We've already explained what bin step is. Your base fee. This is the minimum amount that you're going to earn when people swap in the pool. That's 5% on those trades. That comes to, well, it's shared amongst all the providers within the pool, but that's the rate at which that's done. The maximum fee, 10%. It's always 10%. That's the most that the fee can ever be. Protocol fee, that's the fee taken by Meteor, and it's with the exception of token launches, it's always going to be zero, at least for now. I don't know if they're going to change anything in the future, but for now, like I said, with the exception of some launches that they do, it's zero. So dynamic fee, this is the part of the big power of the DLMM. It's what helps make it different than everything else out there. And it's the higher the market volatility for this particular token pair, the higher this will go up. And it will go up to 10%. It can never go above the max fee. So if this thing just starts trading wild, you'll see this number change on the fly. It is dynamic, hence the name. It'll go way up. So that's one of the great things. If you're in a pool and you're seeing the dynamic fee multiple percentages above the base fee, it is probably ripping pretty hard. 24-hour fee, this is just within, I'm gonna pick a different pool here. One that's not absolutely dead. Oh, one that's not quite so ugly. I'm gonna sort by TVL. There we go. So there. We can see here, this one's not moving much. It's got a lot of money in it, but it ain't moving. That dynamic fee is pretty low. But here's the amount in dollars that it's earned in the last 24 hours. So you can see like this here, that percentage. Your current pool price, this is what you want to be verifying, and you can swap the pair here, but it makes no impact on the pool itself. This is just for your benefit. But you want to make sure that this is current. And usually there's a warning that, hey, this doesn't match the market price. So be careful. Here, total liquidity, that's how much money you have in the pool. And this is how much you have claimed in fees. If you haven't claimed them yet, it's not going to display here. But that's what you get. And that fees earned claimed, that's represented in a dollar amount of the value of the tokens at the time they were claimed. So you claim them and it's worth $10. Those things dump. It's not going to change. Maybe they're worth $2 now. That's not going to change your fees earned. It's going to be whatever it was at the time you claimed it. These should be self-explanatory. How much of these tokens you have in there, and how much you've earned in fees but have yet not claimed. Let's see here. Trading volume, this is also something that you may want to look at. This is just how much volume has happened over the last week. And you can see, times when it goes up and down on these. That's how much has moved through this pool at those particular times. You've got we're not going to talk about the supported trading platforms. That's beyond the scope of boot camp. You've got your pool charts here, links that'll take you straight to the chart for this specific pool. I like Dex tools myself because I can set up watch lists and mark positions of whenever I've bought. But you can also see in here in the trade history, they do cover not just buys and sells, but also whenever people have added or removed liquidity to that pool. You see your charts, you can swap with SOL or USD. But this can give you an idea of where you might want to range. We're gonna not get too deep in that today, but you have a lot of choices, bird-eyed, what have you. So pick your poison. Let's see. So here are your positions. It's going to show you all open positions you have in that pool. You can have more than one. Adding liquidity, I'm not going to add to this pool, but you can do autofill, which is going to want to do a balance deposit, or you can put in the exact amount that you want within the pool, and you can see these things change as you go. All depending on how much you do. And you can even go one-sided completely into a pool. That's the thing. Here is where you change your strategy. And again, you can also inverse these, but this doesn't actually impact the pool itself. This is just a visual thing to let you know. Some of the cool things here is you can see, obviously here's all the various price points of the bins, but down here, this gray area, this is where other people have put their liquidity. And you can see that there's like basically nothing in these ranges. For this particular one, everybody's got it put here. And you can see how much SOL is in there and then your percentage. And once you actually deposit, you'll see your percentages of what you've put in. But this is sometimes if you're not sure, where should I put this liquidity? You can use this as a general guide, but keep in mind that just because someone put liquidity somewhere doesn't necessarily mean that it was a good idea. But you can look at that. Of course, you don't have to go all the way wide every time. You can adjust the number of bins, how tight you want to have your position. You can go all the way down to one bin if you want, which is the means, like if you're just looking to swap a token and you want to earn some fees while doing it, you can open a one bin position. It's not guaranteed to work, but you can always try it. The other thing that you can do here is you can actually specify the price yourself. And I'm just going to go crazy here. That's a lot. A lot of bins. So if I did this, oh, that's insane. You create over 10,000. I might want to slow my roll here. But anyway, you can do that, and it's going to open multiple positions there. We're not going to do that today, but it's just something that you can do. Show you some of the other settings here. In here, you can set your priority fee. Like, if traffic is congested in Solana and you're having trouble getting transaction through, you can adjust your priority fee to get in there. I believe whenever you've set it high, it uses Jito bundles, which it's a extra tax on that. Here's the other option: liquidity slippage. So whenever you are trying to get into a pool, maybe it's a low bin step, maybe there's a lot of volume and it's just swinging wild, and you try and deposit and it just doesn't because it just keeps moving too far while you're doing it. So you could change your liquidity slippage to help tolerate that. You may not deposit exactly where you wanted, but this you could say, okay, I'm willing, 2% deviation or 1.5 or whatever. You can custom make it or you can change it. That will help you maybe get into a pool. The swap here, again, this is swapping within the pool itself. Whether or not you can swap depends on if there's liquidity at that price point right then and there for that particular token. Sometimes there's not, which you may want to come out here and use the Jupiter swap for that. But there's a swap slippage. I've never had to use that myself, but that's what this is for, is swapping within that itself. It doesn't impact this. This change here, that's Jupiter settings. This is just the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, one thing on the priority fees, um, I think I think that the number, whatever you set to the max, is what you're gonna end up paying for the Jito bundle.
Yeah.
And you can actually set that number pretty low. Like I think like 5 zeros and a one, you can still get transactions to land quickly. So um, I know that was the case when they first started doing Jito bundles. I believe that's still the case. I don't know, Mario, if maybe or you know better, or Alex or Otto or Yusuf or anybody.
Well,
So
I
what
know
was the
that
question?
there's a fee right now, but it's very small. It's like 0.000031. I haven't actually touched the priority settings, but I still pay this fee whenever I make a new position on Meteora.
Yeah, Mario, do you I think it's the Jito bundle tip is the priority fee still, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yes, it still is.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is sent with every transaction. So make sure you lower that to a reasonable amount because it will be used on every transaction you make on Meteora. As Alex has said, 0.0001 Sol can work. You can probably even lower that, but this amount has been working for me as well, and my transactions are confirmed pretty much instantly. If there's network congestion, feel free to increase that amount a bit, but don't overdo it because it can get expensive.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I've got 5 zeros on mine, and my transactions have been landing. So, as a general rule, set it as low as you possibly can. Start with 5 zeros and a one, and if your transactions are landing, you don't need to change it at all. And then, yeah, to Mario's point, if your transactions are taking a long time, aren't landing, then start removing some zeros to increase that fee a little bit.
Okay. A couple other things that that you can look at here. The year icon at the top of the page. Actually, you know what? I'll show you, but this is what they're for: changing your RPC and your preferred explorer, and of course notifications. And let me just actually show that for you guys, for anybody who's not all that familiar with these. So right here, Soul Scan is the default, but you could choose any of these other things. I think X-ray is dead, so don't choose that one. Um, but like if you're having trouble with transactions going through, you may want to change your RPC endpoint. If you've got your own, enter that here and save it. But you could just easily change your RPC to one of these others, no problem. That's there. So your notifications, this is super cool. You can set up to be notified whenever a position on on the DLMM is out of range. Just log in my wallet here. Approve. Okay, so here, like this is some past ones that I did, but this is just kind of like a thing to let you know, oh, you're out of range. Um, and you can actually click here on the notification. It'll take you straight to it. But the other thing that you can do, whenever you're going to have to set it up, uh, you can enter your email, set up your email. So these will come to your email or your Telegram username. It'll just once you put that in, um, you submit it and it'll open a new window to start the whole Telegram process. Um, so yeah, okay. Go back. Share. Army Bootcamp. Okay, so we are going to now LP into the USDC USDT DLMM. This is the part where you want to follow along. Um, so Let's go back here. And we will just DC, USDT. There it is. So you can see there's 28 pools here. You can expand, and it's telling you, you know, well, which direction it's also going. Like this is an inverse pool, but what the bin step, what the fee is, and you can see like which ones are getting the most volume. Again, you know, take this with a grain of salt, right? Because this can change based off of whales entering or exiting the pool. Now I'm actually going to pick one. This one, let's go with this one. Actually, no, not that one. That one's reversed. Let's just go with the top one. So what you guys want to do is you want to get some USDC, USDT in your wallet if you don't already have some. I've got a little bit, but use the Jupiter swap if you need to change your SOL, or just a small amount. Don't use more than 0.25 SOL for this. Just get a little bit swapped into your wallet for both tokens. Someone asked me to wait. Are we waiting on something?
Not that I know of.
Okay. So we're going to make a deposit. So I want to put in $20 USDC. I use the autofill. It chose this much. Now I can see down here, there's a whole bunch in one bin right here. Most of the liquidity is in this one bin. You can see some out here on these fringes at these different price points. Generally, this isn't going to go much lower than 0.999, and it generally doesn't go much higher than this. So we're going to tighten our range. The default is 69, but we're going to tighten this up. We're just going to go here. I'm going to choose 5 bins. Actually, I think most of the action is going to happen right here. I'm going to choose the curve strategy so I can maximize my money right here. This is where the trading is happening right now. Let me just confirm that. Bam, we have a position. So go, and you can see here, here's how much liquidity that I have in this particular pool. The balance of the two, and we've already got a swap here. So woohoo, getting rich. Let me see here. Here's the other people, and here's my percentages of what I've got in the particular ones right here and there. Something else I was going to say. Real again, 1 second. There's something I was going to add, but I forgot what it was. You guys don't need to do this part, but if you wanted to add a second, I'll just show you really quick. Adding a second position. Seriously, don't follow this. And I wouldn't use bid ask on this. I'm just doing demo here. Oh, I remember what it was I wanted to do. You see right here, show price info. Sol needed to create one position. So it's going to cost you 0.05 blah blah sol to create that position. You'll get that back whenever you close the position. This is actually the rent on the blockchain itself. Since your position can be destroyed, you can get that rent back. But if you click this to expand, it will show you, give you the full breakdown of everything. So position rent, that's refundable. If you are placing liquidity in a place where nobody has ever put liquidity before, say it's a brand new pool, it's going to need to generate bin arrays. Sometimes it might only be one, it might only be two bin arrays. There's a lot of factors that go into that we're not going to cover in boot camp. But generating those is 0.07 sol per bin array, and it is not refundable because the bins cannot be destroyed. They must stay on the blockchain, so that's why that's there. So pay attention. Don't just hit buttons whenever, especially if you're dealing with newer pools or memes or something. Pay attention to this so that you know what you're paying for. And
Yeah, and to add to that, I think someone had asked earlier about are we going to show how to create new pools, and I don't think
no,
we're going to be showing that today, but just be aware if you are creating new pools, then that means you are going to have to initialize those bin arrays, and typically you're going to end up initializing two bin arrays, which is going to cost you 0.14 sol.
right.
So, if you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend creating new pools. I would use pools that are already existing out there. And if you are looking to create a new pool for whatever reason, I would reach out to people in the Discord and see, because there could be somebody out there who's got, more liquidity than you and might be willing to open up the pool if it's something that might interest them as well.
So yeah, we might cover creating pools in an advanced class. It's not going to be during this boot camp today or tomorrow. You can see here, I've got two positions open. They happen to be within the same price range, but this will sort from the highest range. Like if I had gone to a lower range down here, it's gonna sort that. So the lower range will be on the bottom and the higher will be on the top. So I can just see what's happening here. I can claim any fees from the individual positions, or I can come up here and claim all fees for all my positions. And this is one feature that I've noticed doesn't exist if you're on mobile. Like if I use Phantom, claim all fees is not a choice. I have to individually claim, which there is a sol cost for each one of those. But it is what it is. I'm actually going to close this particular one. Withdraw here. Withdraw liquidity. It just pulls all that out. It doesn't pull out the fees. It doesn't close it. But withdraw and close does. So I'm going to do that. And say, so Palm Trip's main drivers for the percentage of 24-hour fee and TVL. I mean, it's a simple calculation of how many fees have been generated in the last 24 hours over the TVL. Maybe I'm not. Alex is going to answer your question here. Maybe I'm missing what you're trying to say. But so anyway, we've got this. It's made some chump change, and we're actually going to leave that there for now. We're going to see if it cooks a little bit.
That'll cook. Is there still an impermanent loss calculator section in day 2?
No, but there could be.
Okay, I forget. I think we go over it a little bit in terms of Alex's tool, but I didn't want to give the wrong answer here. Yusuf's answering a question in Q&A about the calculator, which I
Yeah.
think we've sort of moved away from in the boot camps, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we've kind of moved away from that, but I will say this. Within the bootcamp resources, it tells you like there's links to the in the Discord, the read this first, the LP Army sharing, and links to those calculators, those spreadsheets, they're in there. So you can get to it from there. So maybe that helps. So let's talk about something here that I forgot to cover. I don't like that one. Let's go with this one. So we're just going to talk about, what parameters you use, select when you're trying to choose a particular pool. You can look at the volumes. Like this one, it's had this is how
Hey,
much.
Heavy Metal Cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're about an hour in. I was thinking maybe it might make sense to flip back to the presentation just to let folks know where we are in the agenda. As you've given a ton of awesome content, but just to sort of reorient people might make sense. Just real
Okay.
quick.
All right. And that's where we're at. And that's where we're going. We're about to deposit into a volatile DLMM pool. Does that work?
Yeah, and that the page with the full agenda.
So we're getting here to the last point. We're about to deposit into the volatile pool. Is that good?
Yeah, awesome. Sorry to mess with your flow.
All right. Okay. Where I talk about Okay. Now we're going to get into a volatile pool. Right. Let's pick Jupe Soul. So when you're picking, you can see here the bend step and the fee percentage. A low bend step is going to capture a lot more volume at a time, but that does mean that you're more likely to go out of range if the price really swings. Your higher bend step will allow you to cover more range if you want, but it's less violent. So like if you're looking to chill or you think it's going to cover a whole lot of range, and then you may want a higher bend step. Lower bend step for things that are a little bit more not so wiggly on the price may help. Your fee percentage, it does matter. So this kind of can get into a long conversation about what particular fee to choose. You've got to factor in several things such as, the lowest fee is going to win swaps, right? Because that's what Jupiter does. It's looking to give the person trying to make a swap the best price, right? So the price of the tokens, and that can be impacted by that fee. Okay, so if your fee's too high, it may pass you over. But at the same time, if you're picking a fee that's too low on a very volatile coin, you may miss out. You may lose more than you profit in fees. In these things that are a little bit more established and stable, you're probably going to want to go with the lower fee. And you can just kind of see here, this 0.4% has been getting the most volume. So let's actually go with,
Yeah, and one thing to add to that is, um, if you're in pools that have a lot of liquidity, like these Jupe Sol pools, then generally speaking, that fee to TVL percentage is generally be pretty accurate.
right.
But if you're in like really low liquidity pools, like meme pools, I wouldn't even look at it because most of the times, if it has a high fee, it could be that, somebody was generating fees in there an hour ago, and then they pull out of the pool, and there's not that much liquidity left, so it's overstated.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many pools. And I hate these right here, these inverted pools. Gosh. That is one of the things that's, anybody can create a pool. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good pool. Okay. So, boys and girls, let's jump into the 80 bin step. This may not be the wisest choice, but we're going to jump into this one. Just because I could show you something with a wider bin step than the small bin step. It's a base fee. So in my wallet, ah, there we go. Oh, where pin? There we go. Show it off to the side there. Okay. I'm just gonna go one-sided here for giggles. I'm gonna put in 0.25. So y'all follow along here. Put in 0.25. Don't put any juke. I'm gonna go about this wide. Not going very wide with this one. We're just gonna go 18 bins here. Now, that's how you do a one-sided strategy. And yes, I know, guys, that it's very wide for this. This is not strategy advice. This is for demonstration. So just understand that. But I want to get some juke now because maybe I actually want to go two-sided on this thing. So I'm going to come out here to Jupiter swap and swap it right here within the pool. Or not within the pool itself, but right here on this little tag. Okay. Now I've got some jupe. I'm just gonna put all that in. I could go with bid ask. I could go with curve. But I'm just gonna leave it here at spot. And there we have mostly balanced one. You could see here, there's our current balance. Currently no unclaimed swap fee, but that's that. So we're waiting on that to cook. I want to show you portfolio. You guys are probably all familiar with this now. This is the place to see where you've seen all your deposits, because you'll notice if I come out here to the DLMM page, you don't see your deposit here anymore. And out here on pools, you don't see it listed there either. I thought we had something in a pool. I guess now we must have taken.
Yeah, there's an issue with the UI. It's not showing the
Well, no, I
the
think
dynamic
they had
pools.
it fixed, but I think I think I removed it. I actually closed that position. I must have, because I don't see my LP token here.
Alex is saying that you closed it.
I did close it. I looked at Alex.
Yeah, one more thing that you could show is one-sided withdrawals. Alex
Yeah,
also
I'm
suggested
getting
that.
to it.
Awesome.
Okay, so there you see in our portfolio, dynamic pools and the DLMM. It does not show vaults at this time, any deposits that you have in vaults. You have to go find that yourself. But here they are. And then we can see the value of these. This particular one is out of range. So you can see it's in orange. We're not going to mess with that. We are going to go and check on our USDC, USDT pool. And we can see we have not quite earned a penny yet, but let's say we want to withdraw. So, and this is a very new feature that's happened like Wednesday. Before you could only withdraw the both tokens, and you could do whatever percentage you want. You can change it, or you know, manually you can change one of these things. It defaults to 100%. And you could just click withdraw and it'll withdraw all the tokens. So added that new feature. You can pick just one of the tokens to withdraw. It's going to withdraw 100% of that token if you're only withdrawing one of them, right? You can't choose the percentage. So I can't choose to only withdraw 50% of my USDT here. It's going to give me 100% of it. But if you pick both, then you can choose. So I'm actually gonna close this out. You guys can close this if you'd like, or you can leave it cooking. That's up to you. I'm just gonna withdraw that to show. We wait for it to update. Okay, and this will update with the less than a penny that I earned. Yay! We'll come back here to our Jupe Soul, and it has earned exactly nothing. That's neat. Well, you know what? I want my Jupe back. So I'm going to withdraw all my Jupe. Now I'm back to a one-sided position. And yes, this is open. I intentionally left this open, but there's nothing in it. I've got absolutely nothing in it. Here I can see the amounts there. So that's how that's done. Let me move back. All right, we already talked about that. Just wanted to talk to you real quick about SoulScan. So this is a useful tool to find any and all transactions you've done on the blockchain. It's not the only one available, but it's the one we're showing. It's the default. You just enter your wallet here at the top of the page, solscan.io, enter that, search, come to the DeFi activities tab, and then it'll show you everything that you've done. I love the way they break this down. Remove liquidity, add liquidity. It'll show you swaps. It's much easier than just trying to dig through every transaction. So I love this thing, you know. So if like, oh, which transaction was that, or when did I do this, or what did I do, you can find your history here on Solscan. So there's a lot more to Solscan. We're not going to get into all that. So now, scan this code, fill out the form. It's your participation for today. You're going to gain the Bootcamp trainee Discord role. And you do the requirements tomorrow. The graduate will get into it tomorrow to become an LP Army private. So today, this is just Bootcamp trainee role. Scan that and fill this out. This form is going to be open for exactly 1 week. And yes, I'll post the link directly here in the Zoom. Give me just a minute. But this form is going to be open for exactly 1 week. It will close at 4 p.m. UTC. Well, as of 1 week and 1 day. So we'll, like tomorrow, the form, it will be open for a week, and it'll close at 4 p.m. on Sunday, 1 week. Roles will be given out, and we won't be giving them out until after that form closes. So it could be up to 2 weeks from today. We'll process as soon as we can. So, you know, if you're looking, you come into the Discord and you're asking like, oh, where is my stuff? Well, you're gonna have to wait. Just trying to get this link for you guys.
Mario got it
You
posted.
don't have to.
Oh, you got it?
post it.
Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So moving on. We're going to talk about our point system, the Meteora 10% LP stimulus proposal. And I did link this in the resources. It's a common question that we see every day. There is no MET token yet. Eventually there will be one, and the allocations to liquidity providers based off of these points, as shown here. There are community tools that can estimate points earned just on the DLMM. It won't estimate points earned on the dynamic pools. But keep in mind that that's not official. Okay. It's just an estimator. There's no date set for points program to end or MET token generation and airdrop. We don't know. So, you know, don't know. This does mean it's not too late to start stacking points. We're still in. Keep going. And again, I provided a link in the resources to Bootcamp that if you want to read the full proposal and more details on that, it is in there. So a lot of people will ask questions, you know, does this pool count? Does that pool count? Yes, it's a pool, it counts. You may get confused in the thing talking about, oh, it's only going to count if you're paired with Sol or USDC. That's not necessarily true. They may discount people, like if you're doing meme coin and it's set up just for wash trading, you know, if it's obvious you're trying to game the system, you may not get your points counted for that. But all pools count. Here's that link again to the Bootcamp resources. scan that code, it'll take you to that document. Let me get over here because it is time for questions and answers. I actually have the link. That's the link to the bootcamp resources. Anybody have any other questions? Because we still have 30 minutes.
The team did a great job in the Q&A panel. Heavy Metal Cook, if you want to skim through that, you might pick up a couple where you want to add some color.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Yep, good tools to use. Yeah, someone asked if you have to avoid impermanent loss or divergent loss, close exactly in the middle where you put in. Yeah, that's the closer you are to where you deposited, the less you're going to experience. It's very, very hard to do. It can be done, but yeah. That's something that you kind of have to accept in this game, that impermanent loss or divergent loss, it's happening. It's happening to you. It's happening to everybody all the time. I mean, it's a losing game. It's all about overcoming that loss with enough fees. So it's like doing business, right? Cost money to make money. You got to make more profits than you expended.
Yeah, really the only way you could ever get back to exactly what you started with is with a one-sided position. So
Yeah.
if you open a one-sided position, you put one soul in, the price comes down into your range, you print some fees, the price goes back up out of your range, and then you end up with the one soul that you started with. That's pretty much the only way you're going to get exactly back to where you started. If you go in with a two-sided position, it's just the price is never going to land exactly where it was when you opened your position. So when you pull out, you're gonna have slightly different amounts of each token.
Yep. Someone asked, they have boot camp training last time, or they attended a previous boot camp. They got their training role, but didn't get LP Army. You don't, if you already have boot camp trainee role, you don't need to fill out the form. It'll just cause me extra work to clean that up. You're just looking for tomorrow's form when we get that to earn to do the graduation. Um, let's see. Someone asked, I used compounding a lot. Is it a big mistake? Is it better to close and reopen? Um, well, so compounding is can be a great tool, or a great strategy. Um, I quite frequently like to compound fees, especially if I'm doing, say, a soul and some other token, right? Whether it's a blue chip or a meme or whatever, right? Especially memes. Whenever I claim my fees, I will just put that meme token or whatever that other token is. I'll put that in, uh, and I'll just put it in up higher, maybe at a bid ask or whatever. That's not important, but you can compound that. Frequently, what I'm hoping for is that the token pumps and it goes up out of range and everything's turned into soul, and I've got all soul, right? That's great. So compounding is great. Um, if you instead close your position and reopen a new one, the drawback there is that you are realizing any losses. So if you've gone out of range or it's way down, and you close that position and open another one at a lower range, well, you very well could be losing money there. So the how to obtain the LP Army role. We're really going to discuss that more tomorrow. There's a whole process of criteria, and you cannot start on it today. It's not possible. So yeah, patience. You can stack strategies any way you want.
So I know somebody's asking again about the about Ben's calculator. So I don't, Mario, were you planning on showing that tomorrow?
I'm not sure I ever used that, but I'll take a look definitely.
Okay.
If you guys want me to cover it, I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, it might be worthwhile taking a quick look at it.
It's quite confusing. You should decide for yourself, Mario, I think, if you don't think you can get through it without confusing folks further.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. It does look a bit confusing, and I don't want to like spoil anything, but something is being worked on that will show your P&L hopefully on the main UI. So maybe not worth confusing people with this. It does look quite daunting at first.
Yeah, it is. It is cool. Like the second sheet is cool also because you can sort of do some scenarios and sort of teach yourself how it plays out dynamically. But it's technical.
Yeah, it's a good tool if you want to use it, but I'm not sure if it's for everyone.
I'm just still digging through questions here. You guys have been doing a great job answering these in chat. This is not the exciting part here where you're just watching me read questions. Okay, got through all of those. And just go through the chat here, and it looks like how to print, sir. Nice one, Alex. All right. Okay. So, I mean, still got 20 minutes. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. Can you interact with the DLMM with the API? Well, yeah, that's a very advanced question.
Yeah, not with the API, but you can with the SDK.
Okay, well, there you go. I'm not a developer.
Yeah. So the API really is kind of like read-only access. So it'll give you access to read, what you have in positions, what's going on with the pools. But if you actually want to interact and create transactions, open positions, close positions, claim fees, things like that, you'll need to use the DLMM SDK. So if you search for Meteora DLMM SDK, you'll find the documentation. Documentation is quite good. So, and if you guys have any questions about that, you can just ask in the Discord in the developer questions channel.
Yeah, developer support. So, yeah, that's that. Wait a minute out. I'm gonna go. Someone asked for the song again. We'll play that. Rock on.
Bootcamp is about to begin. Rise up, it's time to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting this day. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army. will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in Solana, we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Bearable, we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, Cupid, ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will print and we will earn. Points to Dana's tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Bearable, we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Bearable, we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the run and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
Hey, Heavy Metal Cook, can you drop the link to your Suno song in the chat for everybody? I'm sure you'll get a shit ton of likes on it.
Yeah, well, I could probably put it out in the Discord. I mean, the song itself is in the announcements on the Discord.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, Ben posted it yesterday, actually.
Awesome.
So yeah, appreciate you guys joining us. I hope you'll learn something. I mean, I know we covered a lot of your early basics. Tomorrow Mario's going to be your instructor. He's gonna guide you even further. And you know, of course, a lot of us will be on here to answer questions. So come back for day 2, same time, same awesome. Rock on and thank you. And we'll see you.
Yeah, see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yep.
See you all.